Now, there is, I think, an element of some of you should ask, and you don't ask at all. You attack people and this and that and the other thing. Look, every wife out there needs to listen. All your husbands, yes, I hate to tell you this, they need you to ask. But he should know. You have to ask. I shouldn't have to ask, but you do. You can fight that all you want. Most husbands, I'm hoping this is true, most husbands will do when you ask. Most husbands will do when you ask. Most husbands will tell their wives, all you had to do was ask. But meanwhile, the wife's already mad because you didn't do it because they didn't think they should have to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot, men. If your wives ask, would you do?
Yes.
Hands up. All right? But you have to ask. That doesn't mean that everything you ask they're just going to do. Maybe they don't agree with something. What I'm saying is we get so upset, but we don't ask. Why would he say adulterers and adulteresses? Well, that's an interesting term instead of just calling them some other name. He says, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity to Elohim? So he's saying that you're basically like sleeping with the world, like an adulteress or an adulterer, when you start behaving like them, when your influence is coming from them, when your influence should be coming from him, from above, okay? So this is, again, he's saying you're acting like the world. That's his way of saying it. He didn't come out literally and say you're acting like the world, but he did. He said, why is there fightings among you? Because you do these things. And by the way, these are the things the world does. And when you act like the world, then you're an enemy of Elohim. Because now you're being friends with the world. I try, so you can understand where I'm coming from, to say nothing and approach nobody about anything unless I believe that that will get a result that's worth going after. Do you understand? In other words, there are people who have sent all kinds of nasty emails, nasty texts, or whatever. You know what I do with most of that? Actually, almost all of them. I ignore them. Unless I believe saying something could possibly have a positive result. Okay? I think that through with most conversations and most issues, and so I don't get into big fights with people about these kinds of stuff because I will simply realize that it's not going to bear fruit. And by the way, if I do start a conversation and it's going nowhere, I will end the conversation. I would just say, I'm done. Sorry, not going anywhere. This is not going anywhere. I don't want to fight with you, so let's just end it. Usually that works for me, and the other person keeps going. And I was like, I don't want to fight with you. So why don't we just talk about something else, okay? So what's sort of inherently understood in those strivings? I'm right, you're wrong. That's what's happening almost always, right? You're striving because you believe you're right and the other person's wrong. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Why are you fighting about it? Because you think it's your job to do this, to straighten people out or whatever it is. It's not your job, okay? Look, I have children. I have a son. He's my son. He's 19. What do you think my shot is in straightening him out?
0.
About 0. He's got to straighten himself out, right? Now, I'm not saying he's all messed up or anything. I'm just saying is, I'm just telling you that even when you have the responsibility where you think, oh, I have a responsibility to straighten someone out, you can't really. All you could do is hopefully plant a seed or two and get them to consider something, but you can't straighten them out. You don't have any peace because you don't allow things to be. The things you can't control, you have to allow them to be. And unfortunately, most things in this world you have no control over. And the sad part is the one thing you have full control over, you take very little control over, which is you. So you tend to be out of control while you're busy trying to control everything you can't control. That's dumb. Okay? That's just very foolish. And that's part of why we fight. That's why Yeshua gave us the twig and the plank little parable. Because we're so busy focused on everybody else, we don't realize how problematic ourselves are, that we're just all this free time on our hands. Well, no, you should be very busy. Okay? You should have no free time on your hands. None of you have arrived yet, you got a work to do. Okay? Oh, but it's much more fun working on the next person next to you instead of on yourself. So let's understand this thing about the devil. Okay, what is the devil actually? Okay, he's an adversary. He's an adversary. when you are doing these things, he's saying you're acting in an adversarial way. When you become friends with the world, you're acting in an adversarial way. So he's got to resist the temptations to behave that way, to get caught up in that mindset, that behavior, that lifestyle, that way of approaching things. He says, if you don't give the devil a foothold, he will flee from you. He says, in other words, he'll leave. There's nothing for him to work with. Problem is, a lot of you have him residing very nicely in a spare room because you give him all kinds of materials to work with. And he thinks you're like a bed and breakfast. Okay? He just hangs out, happy to just go and do whatever because you're giving him tons of material. We're already told the problem. We fight, we strive, we have issues with our tongue, we have issues with belief, we got a problem with envying and jealousies and desires and cravings and pride. Now what do? Well, we draw near to Elohim. So step one is something you do. You draw near to him. You express an interest in going in his direction. Okay? Your child's having a problem and you're sitting there on the couch in the living room, wherever you're sitting, and you're waiting for the child to come to you. You're all excited and ready to be there when the moment that child comes to you to comfort them and fix the problem, whatever it is, but you want them to come to you to show an interest in your authority, in your ability to help, in all the things that you bring to the mix. All right? So you need to make sure to understand you have to draw to Elohim first. I'm not talking about pre-bubble pop. This is talking to people who are covenanted, who have relationship. But all you men out there, you know what? Be quiet. Or better yet, shut up. That's the word, okay? Put your seat on. Until then, at least until then, keep your mouth shut. About thinking you can tell anybody, well, do you see that person, what they do? You see it? How about you? Where's your seat? All right? It's not the end-all, be-all, but it's certainly a good measuring stick that at least some element is going on of humbleness. Because I'll tell you what, as a guy, I wasn't all that excited initially about what people might say or look at me wearing strings on my clothing. Okay? I don't think anything of it anymore as far as like what others might think wearing the strings on my clothing. It's what I wear. Some people notice them, some people don't. I don't care. I don't wear them for them. Okay? I wear them for me, out of obedience to him. This isn't Burger King. You don't get to have it your way, all right? Everyone, you guys want to have it your way. You guys, hold the pickle, hold the lettuce, special orders don't upset us. Remember that song commercials? Yeah, but you start not doing Yahweh said, it upsets him. Not like as a human does, but you know what I'm saying? It disappoints him. All right? But you want to do it your way. So you want to turn Sabbath into your version. You want to wear what you want to wear. You want to observe what you want to observe. You want to keep what you want to keep. You want to do what you want to do. Oh, but I'm keeping the Torah. No, but you're doing it your way, not his way. That's where you get in the problem. That's where you're double-minded. In his eyes, he would see that you're being humble. Not humble yourself, oh, I'm being humble, okay? It's got to be that he would see you as being humble. So I've given you a simple way to do that. Actually, I think he's given it to you. It just gave me the words. Own it, okay? And then you can add this little step, lament, mourn, and weep. Fix it, and then let it go and move on, okay? Because that's what's humbling yourself in his sight. It starts off with owning it. You can own, but I love that food or whatever it is. Okay, so you never get to have that ever again. So good, cry about it, yell and kick and scream, and then go, okay, good, I'm good now. I'm never going to eat that food, and I'm good because I'm going to obey you.